To all of my regular viewers who decided to click on this video, you are a real one. I know that this isn't total drama or Disventure Camp related, but I need to talk about this. Because the topic of today's video has been my #1 hyperfixation for pretty much a year now, give or take. Now this project is very well crafted, it has a lot of passionate people behind its production, and it is criminally underrated. So if you like hearing me talk about things, I would ask that you allow me to introduce you to the world of Mashup Week Megamix. I can almost guarantee that you've listened to at least one Mashup Week Megamix track whether you know it or not, mainly because I've been using a lot of them as background music in my videos. I don't know if my background music is too loud or too quiet, I've heard a lot from both ends, so hey, maybe you can let me know after this video is over. I desperately hope that at least one person has actually gone to check out Megamix proper as a result of my content, but if not, then I think this video might be more your speed. This video will serve as a general overview for what Megamix is, where to find them, and all the little things that make me love this project so much. Now this video is primarily dedicated to my general audience, the people who have no idea what Megamix is and need some motivation to check it out. But because I know a good amount of Megamix people are aware of my content, there will be a little something at the end for you too. But before we get to that, I need to explain to the uneducated what Mashup Week is, and why the match results were the highlight of my week. Let's get started, shall we? Mashup Week Megamix is an online mashup-style music tournament that sees 32 characters face off in a double elimination bracket, where the winners and losers are decided by viewer voting. The winner of this illustrious tournament will receive an entire week of mashup tracks, aka more music, for all the fans who enjoyed them. Or in simpler terms, there's 32 characters, each with their own style of music, and the winner is decided by viewer vote. The winner, of course, receiving more music. This works because the music is really fucking good, but we're not at that part yet. Let me ask you a question. How do you differentiate 32 different characters into their own unique musical styles? Do you just give them different genres? Well, no, because you see, notice the word mashup in Mashup Week Megamix. The music in Megamix isn't all brand new, it's composed of different existing songs that are mixed and matched together in order to create new remixes. These tracks may consist of just a few songs or a lot of them, it really does depend. And what separates each of the contestants is the list of songs that they have access to, or pulls as we call them. This is a character's source list, and to explain what that looks like, I'll use the host of Megamix as an example. That host, of course, being Scott the Woz.
Hey y'all, Scott here, and damn it!
Scott gets songs related to gaming YouTubers as well as Scott the Woz collaborators, stuff from the Wii series, Smash Bros, Mario Kart, and songs from notable games on the Scott the Woz channel. Any song or sound effect that falls under these categories is something that Scott can pull for a track. So by looking at a character's source list, you get a rough idea of what type of music you can expect from them, and each of them have a general vibe that they stick to. Let me give you a few examples. Forum Freak Show's source list focuses a lot on SoundCloud rap and YouTube poop genres. So with him, you know to expect a lot of high energy tracks with a lot of synthesized vocals.
Now I try to disrespect epileptic, but the music in play made the place go hectic. The fingers on the deck came disconnected, all the alcoholic views were suddenly naked. But though my muscles expanding, the track I passed out on the dance floor, laying on my back. Reality started fading, cutting in and out. I woke up and an all just went through open my mouth.
Snailians focus a lot on kawaii future bass, so combined with their other sources, you get a spacey, dreamlike sound, occasionally with some sugary vocals and backing tracks. Netherrack Nightmares are based on Minecraft, creepypastas, and video game mods, which offers a lot of versatility in what they can pull, but most of their tracks are a lot slower, more melancholic. Dare I say, their vibe is very haunting. In a good way, of course. And Club Bangers, okay, you kinda just have to listen to Club Bangers to understand what they're about. They're good, just hard to explain. And this goes for every character in the roster. They each have their own unique sound that they bring to the table, and that's even with the caveat that many of them share genres. Tyler, Darky, Forum, and Barkley all have sources that focuses on rap/hip-hop music, but the way they use these sources is very different and doesn't lead to any of them sounding too samey. And as much as I'd love to go in depth on all of these characters, I'm unfortunately going to have to refrain from doing so at this time. I have way too much to say about them to fit in this video, and it would ultimately take away from the basic overview that I want to give to new potential fans. So if you want to learn more, I'd highly recommend checking out the Mashup Week Megamix website, which I'll link in the description. This website kicks ass, and all the information on the contestants is located under the tab titled Contestants. What'd you think was gonna be under there, candy? This site also has a link to the Mashup Week Discord, some general information about the project, as well as some cool features regarding music and story posts. What's that about? So to make a long story short, Mashup Week has lore. It has a lot of lore, actually, that I really can't go into without making this a 1 hour long video, so I'm going to have to refrain on what happened with Garfield. The point is, Heaven Ascension Dio is not just a vehicle for good music. In the lore, he gets into a fight with Charles All-Star Barkley, and it is awesome. Now talking about the lore, I can actually use this as a jumping off point to talk about the matches, because as good as these characters are on their own, they don't become peak until they meet in the brackets. When characters meet in the winner's bracket, they'll each drop one solo and then a varying number of dual tracks, or phases, that pull from both of their source lists. In Winners Round 1, it was only 2 phases, but in Winners Round 2, it was 4, so the numbers vary. Afterwards, a community vote will be held where the winner will advance and the loser is not eliminated, but drop down to the loser's bracket, where they are given a chance to fight back. If you lose in the loser's bracket though, you're just out of the tournament. You only get 2 strikes. The system by which characters drop into losers is a little hard to explain, so let me quickly try to summarize this. After the first round, all of the losers drop vertically into the loser's bracket, but as of Winners Round 2 and beyond, the losers will now drop into the corner that matches theirs diagonally. There's 8 corners in total, and each is diagonal to another one, so 1 and 8 are diagonal, as are 2 and 7, 3 and 6, and 4 and 5. So for an example, Tyler and the Grinch lost to Farquaad in round 1, so they dropped vertically to losers left, starting losers round 1, match 1. But then Farquaad lost in winners round 2, so he drops diagonally to match 1's diagonal, which is match 8. So that means he'll fight River City Girls in losers round 2, match 8. And if all of that is still confusing to you, good God, please do not try to wrap your head around what happens in Diary of a Tourney Kid. As previously mentioned, during matches, characters drop a bunch of music, leaving the voters to decide which sound they like best. But there's a little more to these matches than just the music. There is the lore. Every bracket match has its own accompanying piece of lore, which you will usually find in the description of that match's dual track. These lore posts are a fun read. They're not personally why I enjoy Megamix, but they help contextualize the matches, and I give them a read as they come. Do not try to read all of them though, there are just too many. Also, don't try to listen to all the tracks in one sitting either, you will grow to hate the sound of music. Believe me, I have tried. Actually, come to think of it, 300 plus tracks is a lot of music for just a 32-person bracket. How are there so many? Well, to my understanding, there are 2 reasons for this. All of the match tracks have unique art and typically take a long time to create given how much effort goes into them, so the composers need to create some less physically demanding tracks in the meantime to keep people invested. The second reason is for the sake of experimentation. Say for example you get into Megamix and you decide that you really like the characters of Heaven Ascension Dio and Ruler of Everything, but these 2 are nowhere near each other on the bracket. And because these 2 won their matches in round 1, that means the earliest these 2 could meet in the bracket would be losers finals, and if you're a diehard fan of these characters, that might be too long a wait for you, especially considering that it's not guaranteed that one or both of them even make it that far. That's where the filler duels come in. These tracks allow for characters to mash up with each other regardless of their placement on the bracket, so essentially the filler duels just serve as more tracks for the characters that you enjoy. And all the Ruler and Dio fans can jam out with Sands of Time. This track is actually a remix of a much earlier track, and the original is great, don't get me wrong. But the remix though! Anyway, I'm getting off topic, so what do I talk about next? I guess I could mention music submissions? Music Submissions is a Google form under the Music tab on the website. On this form, you can submit your own mashups featuring the characters from Megamix, assuming it falls under the specified guidelines. But let me clarify this right now. Only go for this if you are experienced with making mashups. The standards that your track needs to meet are very high, and Rave DJ is not going to cut it. I hesitated leaving this section out since I know that my audience almost definitely isn't the type of composer that Megamix is looking for, but if by chance there's one super talented mashup artist that happens to watch my videos but for some reason doesn't know about Megamix, this might be your shot. For everyone else though, you'll probably just be better off listening. Speaking of which, if the background music hasn't sold you on how incredible these tracks are, I'm gonna play some quick clips to show how high quality this music actually is. I just want to show you the diversity in this roster and what you can expect quality-wise from this project. Now let's hear it.
Sometimes these memories to lost on me. We get lost talking days gone by, but we're not getting any younger. Now it feels like the old life is dragged us in its time.
I'm seeing it in my dreams. I'm looking down every alley. I'm making these desperate calls. I'm staying up all night hoping, hitting my head against the wall.
Oh, you got your own shit and all of it together.
Now just to clarify, these aren't all my favorite tracks necessarily, although I do love all of them, but I think they show the versatility of this cast the best, so whatever your music tastes are, I'm sure that at least one character on this roster will speak to you. And even though 8 of them have already been eliminated, everyone is still going to receive music and lore as Megamix progresses, so no one is left out. Well, almost everyone, Barkley doesn't get to have as many tracks as everyone else. Thankfully, I do have a solution to this problem. All we need is a filler duel between Barkley and Eds titled Matt is Ballin', and it inexplicably pulls Ballin' from Mustard despite the fact that it's only an off-source for both of them. Also, as a quick aside, an off-source is any song that a character pulls even though it doesn't fit under their source list. This can only happen if the song really makes sense for a character. Now, if any of this sounds interesting to you, the viewer watching this video, I highly recommend checking out the Mashup Week Megamix YouTube channel. They just ended Remix Week, which was a week-long event where 7 remixes dropped per day, which is insane how that happened. So because of that, we probably aren't going to get any new material for a little while. Rest assured though, you have plenty of tracks to get through in the meantime. If any of the characters on screen catch your interest, that might be a good place for you to start. And if you think this whole thing is stupid and you think the music is dumb, too bad. I'm using the tracks as background music in my other videos so long as the Mashup crew will allow me to do so. Speaking of, this video is over, for the newbies that is. If you're a regular viewer, you can leave now if you want to do so. You've heard most of what I have to say, and now all that's left for you to do is check out Megamix for yourself. Or don't, and ignore all the hard work I put into this video. But this last part of the video is for the Megamix crew, Sansfield, and all of the people they have chained up in their basement, being starved of food until they produced Pharmacist Mario 2. I got into Megamix around the start of Losers Round 2, and by that point I had to spend months listening to my friends ramble on about whatever the hell a Mashup Week was, to the point where the off-topic chat in one of our Discords got renamed to Tourney Bullshit, because that's all it was being used for. What finally convinced me to look into it was the hype leading up to Match 2, where all my friends had red gradient PFPs and I decided to join them because, hey, why not? And that led me to actually listening to the solos that were out at the time, and my initial reaction was, whoa, this other guy is really good. Cut to the present day, I've listened to almost every Megamix track at least twice, and I'm using some of my favorite tracks as background music for my videos, which I really hope you're okay with. I promise I've been crediting you. The point is, I have immense respect for the work you've all put into this project, and I think that you're all terrific at what you do. I have so much that I could say about Megamix, but I want to make sure that I do it in the right way, which is why I'd like to ask for your help. I have at least 2 more Megamix related videos that I'd like to do, one on the tracks and one on the characters, and because I know that vote rigging is something that you're all very strict on, and rightfully so, the last thing I want to do is potentially compromise an ongoing vote by accident. I won't ask you to co-write the script with me since you're all very busy with more important things, but if there's anything specific that you would or would not like me to talk about, please let me know. I'm in your server and my DMs are always open. I really appreciate you guys putting that stupid little video I made onto an actual Megamix playlist, like holy shit, that's wild. But I feel like I need to make you all something better, so there's a lot more that I'm willing to talk about if you'll allow me. But at the end of the day, this is your project, a project that you have put a lot of time and effort into, and I want to make sure that I don't compromise your vision for Megamix as a whole. I don't know, man, just if any of y'all have fantasized about YouTubers making essays titled Why Mashup Week Megamix is Amazing or whatever, I'm willing to make that happen, if you will allow me to do so. And with that, that's going to be the end of the video. I think I've said everything I could given the context, so yeah, by the way, if any of my regular viewers are still here, thank you so much for letting me ramble about my hyperfixations. I promise DC1 rankings will be worth the wait. In any case though, I will see you all next time. Bye!
Trying to live my own life and be present more, and so should you.